How do you even begin a story like mine? And how the hell did I end up here as the lone occupant of a max security prison? I guess I can start with the beginning of my rise, because that was the beginning of how I ended up being the most hated man on earth. Well, to some anyway. The super rich, the controllers, as I call them. I've stumbled through life like some drunkard on a wire, burned, drowned, broken, jailed, yet still breathing. Almost like somebody or something kept pulling strings. Touched by what though? God? Nah, too easy, too expected. No, it's felt more like gods, plural, as if they were playing chess with me, laughing, betting on whether I'd crash or crawl back up, competing. Touched by the gods, a spiritual revolution. Well, that's as good a title as any. From a drug-addicted felon to facility manager, from food stamps to paper routes, from hustling tacos to running a global logistics empire. God didn't just save me, He rebuilt me. I've stared down tanks, outwitted war rooms, moved millions. But even before all of that, my life was a series of one tragic event after another. And I still remember the first time the world tried to break me. And it didn't even mean to. This was my first day in school, and don't let the smile fool you. I was terrified. Inside it felt like my soul knew it was about to be alone. My mother was all I had left after the divorce. It was just she and I. As an only child, I received all of her attention. As a toddler and young child, she gave me everything I needed to grow and achieve. She was my whole world. Then came that day. Little did I know it would be the day that would change my life forever. A literal, permanent scar that would mold my entire thought process as different than the others, or dare I say unique, to put it lightly. I was a latchkey kid before the term was invented. Cowboy shows were everything at that time. Bonanza, rawhide, gunsmoke. And I had it in my mind that I was going to build me a campfire just like what I saw on TV. An unsupervised kid with a big imagination. Let's just say a good combination it does not make. In this case, the fire source was lighting the opening of a full gas can with a match. And there I was, at the fire. I just needed to go get some wieners to roast over the fire. You know, like a real cowboy campfire. Never made it to the kitchen. Well, at least not to get wieners anyway. I felt something hit my feet but didn't think it was important. That something was my feet hitting the gas can. It tips, fire climbed up my shirt like a spirit taking possession. I was too young to know what danger was. Too alone to know how to stop it. But I knew water. I ran to the bathroom and jumped into the tub. Steam rises, the flames go out, but the pain remains. And there she was, my mother's friend Danielle. She came from nowhere. She later said she just had a feeling. She took me to her car and rushed me to the hospital. And while in the hospital, the daily routine of changing the gauze to stop infection was nothing short of my personal torture chamber. But through all the pain of my skin being torn off as my nurse was changing the dressing was the nurse herself. She was my heaven-sent guardian angel. I can still hear her melodic voice. Her hands are gentle. Her voice never wavers. That whirlpool was my own little torture chamber. But she never once made me feel like I was alone in it. I saw her once more when I was 17. She worked with my aunt at another hospital. Same gentle spirit. Same kindness in her eyes. but I'm ashamed to say I can't even remember her name, and that's when the innocence of a little boy doting over his mother changed. And in truth, I haven't forgiven her for that incident to this day. That burn left more than physical damage. It left a scar of shame I've had to carry my whole life. Couldn't wear shorts, ashamed to go swimming, always trying to hide it. One of the worst, most humiliating experience is tied to those scars happened during a school play in the 4th grade. A Thanksgiving play, and I was supposed to be one of the Indians, and of course Indians wore short pants. But my right leg, man, it was so severely scarred it looked deformed. It didn't even look like a leg anymore. More like a leg of lamb on a pit. I was very light-skinned, but my leg had this brown caramel color, like twisted and textured from the burn scars. People used to ask me all the time, "Are you ashamed of your leg?" And before I could even answer, my mother would jump in, "No, he's not," as if her will for me not to be ashamed could somehow erase the reality that I was of course ashamed of a deformed-looking leg. What kid with low self-esteem wouldn't be? But that is the thing with folks who carry character defects. It's always about them. Her guilt over the incident, translated into this forced narrative. He's fine. He's not as ashamed, but I was. On the day of the play, I got in early, slid into a chair and scooted under the table, trying to hide my leg from view. But kids, man, they're like sharks and wolves rolled into one. They smell fear, weakness, insecurity, and when they sense it, they don't show mercy. One kid, he must have noticed that I wasn't moving around like the other kids, kind of leaned under the table curious and saw my leg. That was 60 years ago, and I can still hear that voice like it was yesterday. And to this day, I'm still not fully comfortable wearing shorts like other people. Never to a public event unless it's swimming, and even then there's a part of me that flinches. A piece of me that never fully healed.
Texas summer heat. The sun dances off the turquoise water. Kids laughing, splashing, at an apartment complex pool. 1968. I was 12 years old. That summer felt endless. Sun, water, cousins, friends, no worries in the world. A couple of guys took the drain cap off of the drain. My friend Jackson went down there first.
Dang, it pulls on your hand. Let me see.
He grabbed me like a steel fist. The drain didn't let go, and the water above me, heavy as concrete. I just kept holding my breath. Then oblivion. I've tried to explain this to too many people to count. I'd ask, is there a such thing as a painful death? To a man or woman, they would all say yes. But my retort is, once you die, you never even knew you ever existed. It's complete and utter oblivion. Then how can you remember nothingness? They never get it. So in the end, there's only two eventualities when one passes away. Either your consciousness moves to another plane, or it's oblivion. Friends all running together, yelling, running. A gym teacher ran out of his apartment after hearing all of the commotion, jumped immediately into the pool and tried to pull me out. Arm didn't budge. Tony was his name. He jumps out, runs around the corner looking for the pool equipment room. He sees a wooden shed. Seeing that's the only thing that could be seen as holding some type of mechanical equipment, he ran to it. He sees the only valve and shuts it off. He dives back in and pulls me out and swims back up and out of the pool on the side deck. Lifeless. Tony works tirelessly, CPR over and over. His hands press, release. Nothing. Presses again. Minutes pass. Then, violent cough. Then screaming. God, help me. They told me later it had been more than 10 minutes underwater. Then 30 more, just to bring me back. The doctors called me the miracle boy. No water in the lungs. No brain damage. Though my wife might still argue the last part. And there she was, Wanda, my cousin.
Hey, sweetie, how are you
the
feeling?
first face I saw
A little
when I
better.
came back.
That's good, I'm right
like
here.
an angel by my side. Funny how close we were as kids, all of us, and how the world and time just pulled us apart. Wanda left us at 33, too young to die, but older it seemed then, when I was still too young to understand how short life really was. I now know 33 is a baby. And then, Madeline, the second sister, left us not long after. But I got to talk to her before she returned home to her creator. I didn't get to speak with Wanda at all before she passed. Didn't even know she was that ill. But that was no one's fault but my own. Self-absorbed. But I refused to let that be the same with Madeline. When I heard she didn't have long to be here, I called every day. And every day she was too sick to talk. But one day, after hearing it was me, she asked to speak to me. I truly loved her, as I did all of my family. A beautiful soul, inside and out. And because I did get to speak with her before she left, that gave me peace. Sometimes that's all we need. And I know Wanda forgives me, even though it's hard for me to forgive myself. That is my cousin Aries on the right. Madeline again, her sister on the left. Aries. She's as feisty as her namesake. She's real. She's the only relative I now talk to on a regular basis. Actually, on any basis. After God healed me, I tried to reconnect with my relatives who I grew up with, spent weekends with, family picnics, partied with in our younger youth, thought there was real love between us. Doesn't it say God is love? Isn't God eternal? So shouldn't love be also? In this case, obviously not, because I would call them just to check on them, but never reciprocated. I finally gave up. I had just turned 19. Bought myself a Yamaha 250 torque induction motorcycle a week earlier for my birthday. Thought I was grown. Thought I was free. My life at that point? Just drugs and what I thought was fun. That kind of empty, euphoric chaos where you don't even realize you're an addict. But I was. Had been since I was 14. I remember my first joint like it was yesterday. At a party, someone gave me a joint. I stepped outside, sat under a tree, and felt a feeling of peace and belonging for the first time in my life, and chased that feeling ever since. At my first stint in a rehab, the intake worker gave me a form titled Drugs Used, List All.
What haven't I used would be easier.
See, after we moved to California, I was 12 going on 13. Not long after the drowning, I lit up my first joint at 14. That was it. From then on, I was hooked. Didn't know it yet, but I was already knee-deep in addiction before I ever walked into my first rehab. But you know when it finally clicked? 2004. That's when I learned what they really meant when they said, addiction is just a symptom. The real problem? Character defects. And brother, I was the poster child. Lied, cheated, slept around. Cheated on my first wife like it wasn't even cheating. Why? Selfishness. That's what's at the root of every character defect. Raw, pure selfishness. But that didn't just appear out of nowhere. I had to take a hard look at how I got that way. That burn accident I mentioned? I realized young that it wasn't my fault. I was 6, an only child. A latchkey kid before that term even existed. What parent gives a 6-year-old a key and says, "Stay home till I get off work"? Sure, we lived across the street from the school, but that doesn't matter. That's why Catherine, my mom's friend, popped in the day of the accident. Call it God, call it intuition, but something told her to stop by. She came over just in time, because I had been playing cowboy near a gas can with matches. Boom, flash, fire. So here's the thing. My mom would drop me off at Miss Tolan's house before work at like 6:30 because she had to be at her job by 7.
All right, in we go.
Okay,
There you go. All set. Drive safe now.
bye. See you soon.
Will do. Take care.
Bye.
But what I didn't know, until I visited Miss Tolan years later as a young man, was this.
Hello, Josh. So good to see you again.
So good to see you. I used to feel so sorry for you, poor baby.
Why is that, Miss Toland?
You used to knock on my door and say, "I'm sorry I'm late, Miss Toland."
I had no idea what she was talking about, but she explained it. My mom had arranged for her to take me to school, but would leave for work while I was still asleep. And when I awakened, I'd wander down the street to Miss Toland's house. Of course, I was late. I was 6. Eventually, she told my mom to start just dropping me off before work. Like, really? How is that not basic common sense? After Miss Toland told me the story, a recessed memory came back with me, remembering waking up from a nightmare early in the morning before light, calling out to someone. Anyone. No one was there. Just me. That was the norm. Always just me. Alone. An only child, but neglected. That kind of instability? That's what I grew up in. No guidance. No consistency. Listen to this. 4 elementary schools in 6 years. 3 junior highs in 3 years. 3 different high schools in 3 years. And when we moved back to Texas from Cali? Yeah, that was after me and a friend tried to rob some people in Beverly Hills. With a gun. 2 blocks from the police station. Real smart.
Wallets, jewelry, now. Don't make this difficult.
You went to jail. Me? No juvie. No probation. Just go back to Texas, son. It's 1975. I'm living in Dallas. Just left a friend's house. High on drugs. Never liked alcohol much, but drugs? That was my thing. I'm flying down the street going about 50. Inexperienced rider. Had the bike for a week. I see a curve coming. Could have hit the brakes. But no, I thought the bike would just go bloop over the curb. No. The bike stops on a dime. I don't. I go flying. Handlebars? Must have caught both femurs because they snapped like twigs. Strongest bones in the body. Then came the tumble. At least 50 yards, I'm flipping and rolling across this prairie of grass. Middle of uptown Dallas, and somehow, I missed every pole, tree, sign, and car. You know where I landed? In that patch of grass they used to separate freeway entrances and exits. The curve led to a bridge. I could have been launched into traffic. Or into a pole. At the very least paralyzed or at most dead. But God said, not yet. When I finally stopped tumbling, I was on my back. Legs twisted so bad my feet were nearly touching my butt. Like I was frozen in a sit-up position, except the knees? They weren't up. They were hanging down to the left, touching the ground. Didn't take a genius or a drug test to know that wasn't normal. People behind me saw the whole thing. No cell phones back then, but someone must have called 911 fast. Ambulance showed up almost immediately. And guess what hospital they took me to? Parkland. Same place they took JFK after he got shot. Just wild.
The ambulance is here. Hold on.
What happened here?
He crashed his motorcycle. Okay, I'm checking his vitals. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, my leg hurts. Ah, my legs! Hang in there, buddy. We're getting you in the ambulance. On 3. 1, 2, 3. He's in. Let's go! Is it starting now? Yes. We'll numb you, but you'll feel pressure. Ah, I feel that! Vitals are stable. Breathe. Almost through. You're doing great. Okay, I can handle it.
And whammo, back into my second home again.
Like I said, I'd been a drug addict since the age of 14, though I didn't realize it at the time. My character was already twisted, shaped by dysfunctional environments, no guidance, no direction. I was irresponsible, just fed, clothed, and sent to school. I never had to earn anything. Everything was given to me. Entitlement settled in early, and I never learned consequences for my actions. I remember being no more than 3rd grade at Foster Elementary. A teacher said or did something I didn't like. After recess, instead of going back into the building with the other kids, I stayed behind, jumped the back fence, and walked home. The next day, my mother took me to the school to find out what happened. She sided with me and moved me to another school. No discipline. No accountability. Being an only child meant a lot of time alone. My world was television and books. My mother once bought me a set of World Book encyclopedias, the internet of that time. I read every volume from A to Z. I had a thirst for knowledge, but she had no interest in developing that intellect. Her focus was on her own pleasures and money. Without the guidance or stimulation I needed, my grades never reflected my real abilities, and boredom in class made my mind wander. At my 6th grade graduation, the teacher made career predictions for each student. Mine was toy maker. My mother didn't smile, didn't encourage me, just looked blankly. If it wasn't a doctor or lawyer, then it was nothing in her mind. But what was she? A clerk at a school district. She had expectations of others, particular me in this case, without wanting to put any work in to manifest those expectations. Another example of her self-centered mindset. When we arrived home, she mocked me in front of family for it. She wasn't involved in my schooling or my life. Never went to a PTO meeting.
Teacher said the other kids were going to be doctors, but Josh is going to be a toy maker.
Never nurtured my interest. Ironically, Atari's Pong made $225 million in 1977. The year I would have been finishing college if I'd had even a semi-stable upbringing. That's $2.05 billion in today's money. Yeah, just a toy maker, right? By 14 I smoked my first joint. Some people say their first high felt weird or uncomfortable. For me, it was the exact opposite. The pain, the hurt, the humiliation and emptiness dissolved into a drug-induced fantasy. My shyness disappeared. I could talk to anyone, especially women, fluently and persuasively. From then on, it was just a continuation of every variety of drug I could find. The years blurred into jobs, women, and drugs. No loyalty, no stability. Still convinced I was all that. But in truth I was an empty shell. In 1988, crack cocaine exploded, a concoction straight from Satan himself. It destroyed an entire generation, me included. That same year I had my best job ever, my first programming position. But my character defects came to work with me. Nothing good lasts when you care about no one but yourself. Even my confidence was an illusion, just Satan's will, dressed as self-assurance. I married my childhood sweetheart Lily in 1984, one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen.
So beautiful, my dear.
Thank you, Dad. I'm so happy.
Thank you for everything, sir. A beautiful day for a beautiful couple.
I love you.
I love you too.
We had Natasha in 1987 and Josiah Jr. in 1991. I swore I'd quit weed after Natasha was born. Didn't happen. I smoked weed, snorted coke, and mocked crack addicts for their weakness, unaware that the same weakness was in me. Because weakness isn't about intelligence, it's about character. The first time I put solid cocaine into a joint was the day my true character stood exposed. Weak and flawed. My life went into freefall. I stayed up all night smoking primos, weed mixed with crack, and rolled into work late. One day, full of arrogance, I told my manager I'd quit if the company didn't treat me better. He fired me on the spot. Even when the CEO offered to keep me if I apologized. I refused. That was my mindset at the time. Self-destruction dressed up as pride. We went from a nicely furnished high-rise condo throwing gatherings
Welcome,
there.
everyone, to our little party.
We're so glad you could make it.
The view is incredible, isn't it?
To good friends and great times.
Having 2 new cars, her VW Jetta, my Mitsubishi Starion, to living in a house my mother owned. My addiction deepened. We moved to Jacksonville, Florida to escape our surroundings, but you can't outrun yourself. My selfishness even showed in the move. I traded the practical Jetta for my flashy Starion. Her brother Emery, an ex-addict himself, tried to explain the disease concept of addiction. I didn't get it. I thought my problem was just using drugs. I took a temp job at AT&T, still chasing women, then quit to work for a Jamaican man whose car shop was a front for cocaine. There I befriended a mechanic whose drug of choice was also primos. We smoked together, but for some reason the addiction didn't fully reignite, until we learned Lily was pregnant again and moved back to Houston. I took a temp data entry job and met Nicole, 19. Beautiful. Disciplined. She worked full-time, went to school, bought her own car. I admired her for her work ethic, one that I didn't even have. I left my wife for Nicole, but lied about everything. Told her I was 27 instead of 34, unmarried, and had only one child. I denied my son's existence. When I relapsed, my personality shifted. She didn't know why, but she knew I'd changed. After nearly 2 years, she ended it over the phone. That's when I lashed out and told her every ugly truth, my real age, my marriage, my 2 kids. That was me, spiteful, selfish, and burning every bridge. I went to a rehab in 1998, an in- and outpatient program. After completing the inpatient stage, I moved into the halfway house. I got a temporary job right away. They warned me to wait until I had full-time work. I was housed and fed, so there was no rush, but I didn't listen. Because I started working so quickly, I couldn't attend all the daytime meetings and therapy sessions, so nothing changed inside me. When my allotted time at the halfway house was up, I could have stayed longer. My friends begged me to, but I thought I was fine. One in particular, Billy Brown. He will be visited again in the future. It was still all about what I thought, a character defect I couldn't see then. I was still working at the temp job and believed all would be well, until it wasn't. Back at my temp job, I started using again. I managed to work there for a decent number of months before my performance declined to the point where I was no longer worth my pay, and they let me go. I didn't return my building entry card. One Saturday when the place was closed, I came back to burglarize it. I brought a hanging suitcase and filled it with as many portable radios as I could fit in it, passing by the security guard without any trouble. My appearance made it easy to project an innocent normalcy. But God gave me a warning before I even went inside. A car drove by in the inside parking area, a man who worked there and had seen me many times before. He slowed down but didn't stop. I should have aborted it then, but I didn't. I went ahead with the heist. When addiction calls, you must answer. Of course they traced the theft to me. I was given probation. But of course I broke it. I did 6 months in jail. When I got out, I was drug-free. Until. After getting out of jail, I was okay, for a while. But the deeper character defects were still unknown, still unaddressed, much less resolved. Eventually I started using again. But I never gave up on myself. And apparently never did God. I checked into an outpatient rehab this time. It didn't work. Again. For me to truly break the cycle, I had to be somewhere I was forced to be accountable. Somewhere the disease couldn't just lie dormant, hibernating, and waiting for the perfect time to attack again. So I got discharged, their polite word for kicked out, for not taking drug tests. We all know why. Same reason I dodged them at the parole office. I was using. But then came the master. My father. My God. And I think he must have looked down and thought, Josiah, you've been trying over and over to beat this addiction on your own. And you keep failing. You can't do this alone. So now I'm putting my hand into this, and what I do always succeeds. After being ousted from Gulf Coast Rehab, I hopped on a bus to go home. I sat there not sure what to do next, and there it was. An ad. One of the many lining the top of the bus. Have a cocaine problem? Call UT Health Science Center. I mean, wow. What more proof does anyone need of an intelligent hand guiding events? Right after my last chance at beating this thing seems to have failed, I end up on a random bus at the exact right time, staring at an ad tailor-made for me. I went home, called them immediately, and set an appointment for the next day. It wasn't a rehab facility, it was an experimental program run by the University of Texas. They even paid participants. And abstinence wasn't required. In fact, it was discouraged because they wanted to see if their medications worked while you were actively using. Why pay addicts money? Because they knew what addicts do with money, buy drugs. That's the test. They gave me 2 medications. Dextroamphetamines, probably to curb the craving for cocaine. And L-Dopa, a Parkinson's medication that affects brain chemistry. My guess? The amphetamines dulled the desire, while the L-Dopa helped heal the brain. So yes, I used the money they gave me to buy drugs. until February 9th, 2004. Now, I had a ritual when smoking primos weed laced with crack. I'd roll 4 to 5 joints, smoke half of each, then go back and finish the other halves. And thinking about it now, who the hell smokes 5 joints in a row? Me if there's crack in them. 10 if I had them. I lit up, and nothing. No high. Not even a buzz. And believe me, if there's any buzz at all, crack will make you finish it. But I couldn't. And that was the last time I ever smoked crack cocaine.
Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last.
I wasn't quoting MLK to be cute. I meant it. I was free, for real. Free from drugs. God had stepped in. And what is God? God is love. 1 John 4 verse 8. By transitive property, if God is love, then love is God. Everything I'd heard in rehab after rehab, alcohol and cocaine anonymous meetings, all those talks about character defects being the root of all addiction, it all suddenly made sense. I didn't change overnight, of course. I was still me, still flawed. But at least now I could see. And seeing the truth is always the first real step to walking in it. But seeing don't put food on the table. But at least now, the haze, the cravings, the prison, they're gone. My mind was clear, the fog had lifted, and for the first time in years I could see my life with clean eyes. Now what's next? They say a job doesn't come knocking at your door. Yeah, they say. But not what God say.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Are there any openings?
Same night. I'm throwing papers. Eventually, I got promoted, handling the dreaded complaint deliveries. 7 days a week. I missed 3 days in 8 years. A far cry from the scattered, cracked-out days of before. I was becoming someone new. No, someone real. Someone God had been shaping me into all along. In 2008, curiosity got the best of me. I looked up Nicole on Facebook, and there she was. I messaged her, told her about my life since we split some 15 years earlier. She was still married then, and surprisingly, I didn't even want to interfere. That wasn't me anymore. Even back in the day, for all my mess, I never tried to step into her marriage. There was something inside me even then that just wouldn't cross that line. Maybe my defects didn't run as deep as I thought. Or maybe God ran deeper. 5 years passed. Somehow, we reconnected again. She was divorced now. We went to the movies. I held her hand. She squeezed mine back. It felt like heaven reached down and wrapped its fingers around mine. Nicole I had walked away from decades earlier was now my wife. Still beautiful. Still kind. Still giving. She even let me use her big Nissan Armada to throw the big Sunday papers. One day on my regular route at Valencia condos, this happened.
Good morning, ladies.
Hey, Josiah. John wants to talk to you.
Hello, John. They said you wanted to talk to me? Yes, I did. Have a seat.
I've seen what a good worker you are. How would you like to work for us?
I'd love to.
Then we're glad to have you aboard.
Well, ladies, I'm now part of the team. John just hired me.
Wonderful news. Congratulations.
It was a great job, but there were more surprises ahead.
You wanted to see me again, John? Last time you did it was to hire me. Now I hope the opposite isn't true.
Of course not. Just the opposite. Actually, we want to make you property manager. Are you serious? Yes. Dead serious. We hear nothing but raving reviews about it. Of course I'll take the job. I love it here.
And of course, you know managers lives on the property, right? Actually, no, I wasn't aware of that. I thank you so much again, John.
Can you show us around the property?
Of course.
I'd be happy to.
Wow, this is a long way from the crack houses. Thank you, Father. Again, I thank you, Father. What did I do to deserve this? How the hell did I get here? Is there something else you want me to do, Father? I know this will give me some answers. I thought you worked here.
Nope, just stay in other people's business, which is my business.
You're going to have to excuse her. That was my Malika you just met. Strong, confident, full of wit.
Well, hello again, Miss My Business.
Well, hello to you also, Mr. I Thought.
Hey, I'm off now. Fancy a game of billiards?
Sure, I'd love to.
Great, let's go.
Okay,
I'll rack 'em up.
sounds good.
Thanks. My apologies. My name is Josiah, and yours?
My name is Malika. Nice to meet you. How long do you plan on doing this? Because there's something about you I see much more.
Really, I was just asking God, is there something else he wanted me to do?
That conversation stuck with me for a long time after that. Even after Malika moved a couple of years later. But I stayed at Valencia for about 5 years, but it just kept eating at me.
Is there something more God wants me to do? Maybe travel to spread his word? But what can I do without a degree? Trucking, yes! John, it pains me to say that I must turn in my 2-week notice. We're sorry to see you go. Is there anything we can do to change your mind? I appreciate that, but I've made my decision.
It was 2017. I entered truck school, became a driver, and after a few years I took the leap. I bought my own truck and started my own company.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure it will bring you much success. The truck won't, but God will.
Because none of it, would have been possible without him. The work ethic, the sobriety, the drive, the favor, I knew where it came from. And because of it, the business took off. I didn't just make it, I grew it. In 10 years from that first truck, GTO expanded into a 33,000 tractor company with terminals all over the world.
Q3 projections of $3.22 billion. This positions us for a 15% revenue increase and 28% market share.
Success. No, immense success. I could buy a $100 million home and it wouldn't put a dent in my bank account. Too much wealth for one man? When others are suffering so much. If I were to give all my earnings to the poor, there would still be the poor. One man can't fix it no matter how wealthy he is. Elon Musk? $300 billion strong. Still a drop in the bucket compared to the US government's wealth. My wife and I tried to enjoy ourselves traveling the world. And it was great, for a while. But eventually the effect became no more than flipping through postcards of exotic places.
Well, where are we headed, babe?
Just tell the pilot to fly. We'll figure it out when we get there.
The tourist attractions, the hidden gems, they were beautiful, panoramic, and breathtaking. But beyond the glossy scenes, in the outer regions where indigenous people and regular citizens lived, there was still poverty. Mixed among them were those who thought they weren't poor simply because the system gave them a decent home, a car, and toys to distract them from the reality of how the world truly operates. And sports? The icing on the cake of deception. The masses were just as hooked on it as the commoners of ancient Rome were on the gladiator games, if not worse. Everything but the deaths. Sometimes even that. Even worse, they were suckered into buying team merchandise. Hundreds of dollars on sportswear, thousands collectively. Then came the designer craze, orchestrated by the same society-controlling class, making working-class folks believe they needed to look rich, even when they weren't. It all started in the 80s when greed is good became the societal mantra, completely antithetical to the very book the propagandists claimed this country was founded on, the Judeo-Christian Bible. Yet, that mindset thrived, spreading like an airborne virus through an unprotected populace. But in my travels to remote places we'd call primitive, those people seemed the happiest. They hunted for needs, not wants. Their smiles were genuine because they had no reason to fear strangers coming to rape, steal, or kill. Unlike our so-called civilized societies, where fear and disassociation was the norm. Very little kindness, just a lot of disregard. With all of my wealth, I still felt incomplete, like a hole that couldn't be filled. I began to see life for what it really was. From the beginning of mankind's civilization, there has been nothing but a continuum of wars after wars after wars. And it's the land, minerals, gold, and oil, but at least with animals. To sanitize it. In the same timeline, the poverty, the diseases, and the pestilence continued right along with it, unabated. But oddly enough, what also remained constant in all of this? The wealthy, as well as the poor. But odd means different than the usual. But this is the usual. And the usual in this case means by design. And it is by design. I mean on purpose. By those who control the society's narratives. And surprise? Who would that be? The rich, of course. And the United States of America was, and is no different, the same as it was then, is the same as it is today. In fact, it is numerically worse. This is what was called the Great Depression, but only for most, not all obviously. In the 50s and 60s, a CEO average to worker pay ratio in the US was about 20-1. A man could take care of his family and send his kids to college. Today the average is 300-1. Representing a dramatic increase of more than 10 to 15-fold since the mid-20th century. And it's odd that when they talk about making America great again, they don't mention those salary disparities to try to change them back to where a man can take care of his family on one salary. And the final nail in the coffin? Religion. Man's innate desire to believe in a creator was exploited, used to control the masses and have them carry out the will of the elite. False preachers, self-proclaimed prophets, tax-free scams, all exploiting the name of God. The ruling class claimed to be ordained by God. We bought into it, wholesale and retail. Now mix that with rewritten history and you've created the perfect storm. Like, America is a Christian nation. God inspired the founding fathers in writing the Constitution. Really? All men are created equal, and there is no respect of persons with God. Are the same thing. Then why not just use the Bible instead? But the slaughter of Native Americans? That's not exactly what I...
Something must be done! What could I do? Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Soros, maybe they tried. But they're still part of a broken system, trying to fix a broken system. I'm playing with dollars, but you're dollars. Or Siri, call Langston.
Silence, waiting for the call to connect. Well, well, to what do I owe the pleasure? Look who it is. The prophet finally calling. You once said being rich felt pointless. Still feel that way? Every damn day. Then meet me in 72 hours. I need a mover of mountains. You in? Say no more. I'm in.
Talk to me, Jay.
Time to rewrite the code of the world. You ready?
I'm ready. Thought you'd never ask.
You picking a fight? No. I'm ending one. The one that's been going on since Cain and Abel. I need you to draw the battle lines. Then we'd better start yesterday.
Yo, Jay. You hear that last drop?
I did. Now how about we weaponize it?
You finally ready to baptize this revolution? Yes. But this time,
with fire.
A movement is born.
You've all earned your place here. Each of you will command resources, facilities, fleets, weapons, transport, and intelligence. It's yours to wield. But understand this, what you see is not the heart. If this isn't the heart, then where is it? You'll never know. None of you. With respect, Jay, why trust us with armies but not with knowledge? Because armies can be rebuilt, equipment can be replaced, but the mind, the record, the vision, if that falls, the revolution dies. That core stays hidden. Hidden from even us? We're supposed to be your shield? You are my shield. You don't guard the heart by knowing where it beats, you guard it by making sure no one ever reaches it. There is only one who knows the location of the true headquarters, the vault, the archive, the place where everything lives.
Then who? Who could you trust more than us?
My son. And no one else. Not you, not your families, not even me should I be taken. If I fall, he carries the fire. Your duty is clear. Defend the body of this movement. My son guards its soul, and he came up with our name. The Brotherhood Retaliatory Action Group, BRAG. Okay, gentlemen, now is the time to recruit. Pray for me. We'll pray for all of us. Well, you better make it to all the deities, Jay. You're going to need it. Malika, meet me in my office tomorrow, 8 p.m. sharp. That will be all. We're not fishing for just numbers, Malika. We're fishing for hearts. The ones still beating in rhythm with truth, even if they don't know it yet. I'm looking for 3 types, Malika. First, the ones who bite for greed. They'll hear 75K and think it's an ATM. Easy tell. They'll brag, flash, ask when the checks roll in. You know what to do with them.
So basically, charm them, test them, then steal them away on a plane like some secret society's field trip?
If you put it like that, it sounds shady as hell. Let's call it selective recruitment with a company benefits package. Moving on. Second, the ones who bite for survival. They're hungry cornered, drowning. These ones are worth something. Desperation can be forged into loyalty if given purpose.
With a starting pay of $75,000. That's not a job offer. That's a bomb going off in the faces of the elite.
Exactly. My enemies will choke on their champagne. But listen, money is just the bait. The ones who bite for greed, they'll wash out. The ones who bite for survival, they'll surprise us.
And the ones who bite for hope?
Those are mine. Guard them, nurture them, and weed out the poison before it spreads. They'll trust you because you look like the answer. Warm, professional, disarming. But when they test you,
I test them harder.
We are offering a career that starts at $75,000 per year. No experience needed.
Why do you want this?
My mom, she's sick. We can't keep the house. I need this. Then you passed. We'll get you on that plane.
This potluck is fire. Y'all outdid yourselves.
Thanks, Malika.
Why are you here?
because I believe there has to be more. I'm not chasing a paycheck. I'm chasing something better than this world gives.
What if I told you this was all a scam? That there is no 75,000?
Then I'd still be glad I came, because for 5 minutes I got to believe again.
The one who bites for hope.
We deserve a better future. One where our voices matter. Let's build it together.
75K? That's all I need to hear. Where's the signing bonus?
Signing bonus? Thought you were here to work?
Nah, I don't work. I hustle. If this is real, I'll be running your company in 6 months.
And if it's not real?
Then I'll just sue you and get whatever I can get from you anyway.
You just failed the easiest test I give. Next.
We're recruiting young men and women to join our company. High pay with no experience needed.
Why are you interested in this position?
Ma'am, all I can tell you is it is not for me alone. Then it's those such as you that we're looking for.
We are accepting applications for those who are ready to step up and start a high-paying career. No experience needed. We're offering a great opportunity for those who are willing to take a chance on themselves.
Lady, you're cutting into business. These kids, they run for us. Ain't no job pulling them out.
I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm offering them a way out.
There is no way out.
You're mistaking me for a job recruiter. I'm a door, and doors open or slam.
Cute. What you gonna do, talk us to death?
Depends. Do you prefer philosophy or physics?
Okay, you've made your point. He wasn't a good fit anyway.
You don't even want this fight, do you?
Nah. I didn't have anything else.
What's your name, kid?
Marcus, but people just call me Tone. That's because I croon the ladies.
We'll leave the crooning here, guy, because this isn't what this is about. At all. Meet me at the airport tomorrow, 7 a.m. sharp.
I'll be there at 6.